Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our co-host Jess Hilarious here, and Charlamagne is out. And let's get in some front page news. All right, now where you want to start? You want to start with Hunter Biden or the submarine? Which way?
Man, so we got so much to cover this morning. So much good stuff. Let's talk about Hunter Biden quickly. And good morning, DJ NV and Jess Hilarious.
Good morning, baby.
Morning. So Hunter Biden agrees to plead guilty in tax case and avoid a prosecution on the gun charge. So I'll just run through that quickly. Hunter Biden, obviously, we know that's the son of President Joe Biden, has agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor offenses related to his filing of the federal income taxes. Now, federal authorities also charged him with a felony firearm offense for which he agreed to enter a pretrial diversion agreement that allows him to avoid prosecution. Now, according to Donald Trump appointed U.S. Attorney David Weiss, Biden did not pay federal income taxes for 2017-2018, despite owing more than $100,000 in taxes each year. Now, he has alleged that Hunter Biden did say that he has paid that back, but that is what the charge was about. Now, additionally, in 2018, Biden possessed a firearm despite knowing he was an unlawful user and was addicted to a controlled substance. Now, if convicted, Hunter Biden faces a maximum penalty of 12 months in prison on each of the tax charges and a maximum of 10 years in prison on the firearm charge.
Now, let me ask you a question. When it comes to the tax problem, right, and it happens, we see this all the time with people. Don't they usually just make you pay your taxes, or do they always make you go to jail? Because I thought sometimes they make you pay your taxes, they give you time to pay your taxes. And the gun charge was in what state? That was Delaware?
Yes.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so the gun laws in Delaware are not like the gun laws in New York, not like the gun laws in Jersey, not like the gun laws in L.A. They're a lot of lenient, right?
Yeah, so I'll explain that quickly. So again, he alleged he did pay the taxes back. Typically, when you have now again, it's a case by case scenario when you talk about failure to pay taxes. But typically, you do not do jail time and failure to pay taxes. It's usually a misdemeanor. It could be fines up to $25,000 and prison time. But again, he said he did pay it back. So it looks like that case just kind of took care of itself. But to answer your question on the gun charge, it's being treated as a diversion case. And so when you enter a diversion program, that means that you're technically not pleading guilty to the gun charge, but what it does is it allows you to enter a program because he had the substance abuse problem. So nonviolent offenders can enter into these types of programs, and it's usually stuff like curfew, random drug testing, participation in substance abuse treatment. So that's why it's kind of able to escape that one.
Gotcha. Now, has the president said anything about this at all, or?
Just basically put out just a standard, statement saying that, they love their son, they support him with rebuilding his life, and, they really don't have any further comment. And sources close to him have said that, they're just kind of relieved that, they can kind of move on with the next stage. All right.
Now let's talk about this submarine. I've been seeing this submarine all over the news, and it's one of those things that you're watching. I think they got 40 hours left of oxygen, and they don't know where the submarine is. Any updates?
Yeah. It's even less than that. And I watch all things Titanic. So this literally just has my anxiety just so high. Right. So there was an update last night, for those who don't know, a submersible is pretty much like a toy submarine. I don't know any other way to explain it. We're talking about something that is 22 feet long. We're not talking about some large, military craft, because I was looking at the comments yesterday and said, how does a submarine get lost? And one user was very witty and said, you can lose your keys in the house. So think about, losing a submarine or a submersible in an ocean. So we're talking about something 22 feet long. It's less than 40 hours left of oxygen now, but the good news is they did hear some banging last night. They put a sonar down, which is a piece of equipment that can listen for sound. And so they've heard this sound every 30 minutes. And so because it's been a pattern of every 30 minutes, they know that is more than likely a man-made sound and not just something they're picking up from the ocean. So now they're trying to redirect the machinery, if you will, to that area to see if they can see something. Now they have planes, and helicopters on the top to see if it surfaces to the top. And then now they have to bring this equipment down to be able to see, can they see something now and this is all off the top of my head. What I remember from watching this right now, I believe what they have down there now can go 3,000 feet. And so they're looking for something that can go 6,000. So this is not like I was explaining to somebody. It's not like you can just, pull a car at the driveway and pull up at the club and you just have this, these vessels available to go down into the ocean. Right now, I believe Japan is sending some equipment, and that's going to take a couple of days, to get down there as well. Wow. Now, there's a couple of likely things that could have happened. We don't know this to be true, but excerpts experts say that it could have imploded once the pressure, they got too far down. Two, and they said that the power could have went out. But if the power went out, it was supposed to release some type of weights that would have floated it back up to the top. So they still don't know what happened. But I do want to make this quick point. One of the former employees actually was sued a few years ago, because remember, this is still new. This company just put this thing together in 2021, and so the employee said that this is not safe, for men to go down, that far to the Titanic. So they sued him for a violation of privacy. He was basically a whistleblower, and then he countersued the company back. And so I thought that was really eerie, because when you think about the real story of Titanic and how that people were warned with Titanic that they didn't have enough lifeboats, and they tried to do all they can, to do that, but because of greed and wanting to get so many people on the Titanic, they pursued with that anyway. Same thing with this, greed, $250,000, wanting to make that money, knowing that somebody had already said it's not safe.
Wow. All right. Well, that's front page news. I wonder, as far as food, is there food on that vessel? Is there water on that vessel? I mean, I'm sure they're peeing and pooping on themselves.
Wow.
But
they said more than like.
To even hear like somebody banging or just banging, because we were just talking about that yesterday. That is like amazing, just to even hear that, because we know that somebody is still living there. Somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
We're hoping. And just to answer your question, they said more than likely it's water, more than likely not food, because this was a very, very tiny space that we're talking about. And yes, using the restroom, relieving the cells, more than likely, urinating in bottles or, whatever they can do. So this is just really unfortunate, and it just, it literally just has my anxiety to think about just being in the darkness like that. They're cold, if the power's out, it's cold, how cold it is in the ocean. So this is tragic. So we'll keep watching that.
All right, well, that is front page news. Tez, we'll see in a little bit. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, call us up right now. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Jess Hilarious is here. Charlamagne is out for a couple of days. And let's get into some front page news. Now we have Teslin Figaro. Teslin, good morning.
Good morning, DJ NV. Jess Hilarious.
Hi, honey.
Now, Jonathan Majors was in court yesterday. What happened with Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, another story that I intend on following all the way through. Such an interesting story. 33-year-old actor Jonathan Majors' domestic violence case will go to trial August 3rd. So they have set his trial date. Now, he is charged with misdemeanors, including assault, and could be sentenced up to 1 year in jail if convicted. Now, his accuser alleged that he pulled her finger, twisted her arm behind her back, struck her and cut her ear, and pushed her into a vehicle, causing her to fall backwards during a March confrontation in New York City. Now, police said that the woman was treated at the hospital for minor head and neck injuries, but Major's attorney said that she is the one that provided video evidence. You remember they were talking about that video evidence, but we had never saw it. They said they were going to put that out, but she said that she did provide video evidence showing the female accuser attacked her client, and that Majors was running away from her. She said we're going to be able to see that on the video, and that the accuser is the one that should be arrested, not the other way around. Now, the attorney also said that they provided photographs illustrating the injuries that she inflicted on Majors and photos of his clothing that was torn during their confrontation. And check this part out. This was the part that, was very interesting, I found. They are also accusing the police and prosecutors of racial bias against Majors. They alleged that the white police officer got in Majors' face, taunted him when he tried to show the officer injuries that he said that the woman had caused. So, of course, they have not identified who this woman is, but Paige and Dr. Umar on this. So we know Megan Good walked in the courtroom with Major. So I wanted to ask, just fix the mess. Do you think now that they brought race into it? Because initially, they didn't talk about that. Yeah. There was an assumption, but now that they brought race into it, do you think, that Megan Good is there for PR, or, is the love real?
I honestly do feel like it's real. I don't feel like it's for PR. I do feel like that they feeling each other. I feel like they were been dating, and they just. So
you don't think it's this new fling?
No. I think that they've been talking. I think it has been something that they they was able at first to keep under wraps, and then it just ended up getting out there, and now they just don't care. I really, but how dare he pull her finger? That's for real. She said he pulled her finger.
That's what she said, allegedly.
I wouldn't have put that in the report. Like, you just don't. He pulled my finger and then was like I'm not about to do that. But yes, I think him and Megan are great.
Do you think she was the one? Do you think he was the one that when she called him? And this is totally an allegation. I'm just wondering. Do you think that he was cheating with her at the time, or?
I do. I think that they've had a thing going on. I think he's been trying to get away from this ex for a while. She ain't having it. She got a little mad and upset, and she started taunting him, and then he probably bucked back, and then now, oh my God, he put my finger. That's what I think. Yeah.
What do you say? Is this a case for Dr. Umar, or because I think Dr. Umar put out a statement saying "Welcome back," something like that.
I mean, it's very scary because when somebody makes a report, it's almost like in this situation, especially the fact that she's a white woman, I see that they are going to believe it first, and now he has to prove that he didn't if he really didn't.
Right.
So I do feel that way, but. I mean, they said they have video. They say they have a whole bunch of camera work. So hopefully that all the facts come out and we get to see exactly what happened in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just as FYI, like you said, it is definitely guilty before being proven innocent. And just to remind folks, he did, the U.S. Army pulled TV commercials that starred him. They also, and they said they were deeply concerned, about the allegations. Disney last month postponed his movie, Avengers, that was supposed to be, I guess, from 2025 to 2026. And he was also slated to appear in the Avengers Secret War in 2027. It didn't say if they pulled him from that or not, but that was also on the thing. I think this man is extremely talented. Yeah. I know they say Michael B. Jordan is supposed to be the allegedly, the next Denzel Washington, but I think it's him. I think Harder They Fall was that's just a movie.
Oh my God, that's my favorite one that he's in thus far. Like The Harder They Fall was so good.
I can watch it like over and over and over. And he's just, to me, just immensely talented. So
absolutely,
I hope that the truth comes out. Whatever that is.
But I love the support that Megan is there always. We see, I love that because it could get real lonely when everybody don't know what's going on, but they speculating and people just leaving you, and and everybody got their opinions. Imagine how lonely and unsupported he feels right now. So
do you think black women? Do you think black women should put their cape on? Because that's what a lot of people are saying in the comments. Should black women support, not support? Say that's what you get. OJ. What?
I don't believe in that's what you get, man. Sometimes people got to learn. They got to see, and when they see, they change. It's evolution. It's all evolution. I don't believe in that's what you get. I believe put on the cape.
Put on the cape, have some grace.
Yes, be his Avenger right now, Megan, until he can step back in that spot. I like that.
Now
good metaphor.
Let's jump to the next story. Let's talk about these rising rents.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I thought about you, Envy, when I was looking at this. So according to the Eviction Lab, which tracks filings in nearly 36 cities in 10 states, eviction filings are up more than 50% than the pre-pandemic average in some cities. Now, the states that were hit the hardest, or the cities that were hit the hardest, was Houston. The rates rose to 56%. St. Paul and Minneapolis rose to 106%. Nashville, 35%. Phoenix, 33%. Rhode Island was up 32%. Now, they said that the eviction filings are back to pre-pandemic levels. The National Low Income Housing Coalition estimated a 7.3 million shortfall of affordable housing units that are available. So people are being displaced. Now, we know that, during the pandemic, the government stepped in and offered all of these different programs. And so when those programs ran out and people still did not, have adequate income or, weren't able to get back on their feet, now it's all just kind of hitting all together. And just at least a quick shout out before we talk about this with Mayor Karen Bass in LA. She has under her leadership, which is we know this still new. She has housed 14,000 Los Angeles residents who were homeless, and she's doing that through a budget that she's put out there for 1.3 billion to go to housing. And so she's using different types of city level programs. This is why I always talk about why city, local, and state government is important, because she's using safe initiative, emergency vouchers, programs that come under her as being a mayor, to get some of these people housed. So I definitely wanted to toss this out to you guys. I have a rental property myself, and a company manages it, and they say, we should go up, $35, but the tenant is struggling now to pay it. And I said, there's no point in going up, $35 just because everything else is going up $35. I just didn't feel that was right if she's already struggling. But how do these, how does it balance out?
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, a lot of people didn't pay rent. And a lot of people didn't pay rent, not necessarily because they didn't have it, it's because they didn't have to. And it took a long time to get a lot of people out. I mean, in some of my places, I had people that haven't paid rent in 2 years. And what people don't necessarily understand is even though people didn't pay rent and a lot of people got over on the system, I still had to pay the mortgage.
Right.
I still had to pay the taxes. I still had to pay to make sure that those properties were maintained. So you do take an L. So finally, after the pandemic's over and you can go to court and you can evict people so you can get them out so you can get some paying tenants in there, you're underwater. And a lot of people have lost a lot because of it, trying to be an investor, trying to be an entrepreneur. So with these rising rents are usually quote unquote market value, right? Meaning that's what the market is saying. So people are not just rising rents because they want to, is because this is what the market is saying that it is. So until these landlords get help, because a lot of these landlords are when people think of landlords, a lot of time they think of this billionaire that has all these properties, but no, you're a landlord. I'm a landlord. We do a lot of these things to try to bring in a little extra income. My kids have properties where they're landlords, and if you can't have a tenant in there that can actually pay rent, you lose that property. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
And it's not and it's not the fact that go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not the fact that, it's millionaires. It's regular people out there that's trying to get a little side hustle and make a little extra money. Those are the people that are losing those properties and those units and those multi-units and those, 2-family and 3-family. So it's not these billionaires that's like, F it. No, it's the average person that's trying to get a little flip on the side that, can't pay their rent.
Absolutely. And another side of that, this one particular property that they wanted to go up on mine, it's not even necessarily a flip. It's a house that I've been trying to keep in my family, for a very long time. And my grandmother, it was the only house that she could buy, back in the 50s. She had survived a domestic violence marriage, and she bought that house for $7,500 at a time where Black people couldn't get houses at all. And being a divorced woman, they wouldn't even want to lend her the house. And so she literally, as a self-employed cosmetologist doing hair, $3 for pressing curls, she bought that house. So I've been trying to struggle just to keep it in the family, and it's an older home, so I spend a ton of money on it every year, just because there's always something that's breaking. And so I don't want to lose that. I actually want to turn it into a safe house for women, for domestic violence, but I can't keep a tenant in it because, again, they can't afford it, or they keep getting put out. So I didn't want to raise it because I said, if she's not paying it now, I'm gonna end up losing the tenant. And each time you get a tenant, you have to spend a ton of money to get somebody back in. You got to repair, you have to wait, the house sits there, you could lose your insurance. So you're right. So there's a lot of sides of this to be discussed. And just as a point of clarity, just so people know, when you were talking about those programs, they put a lot of those evictions on hold. 46.5 billion was spent in rental assistance, and so they've used a lot of that money, and so now they're trying to say, let's go back to Congress and get some more money, and that's just not going to happen right now with the Republican controlled Congress. So people are really just going to have to figure this out.
All right, well, that is front page news. Thank you, Teslin, so much.
Absolutely.
All right, now where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Teslin Figaro. Guys, make sure you jump in the comments. I call them the comment caucus. So we get it in, we debate, we discuss, and you can certainly follow my podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, Straight Shot, No Chaser.
All right. Now, when we come back, let's open up the phone lines, 800-585-1051. Now, Issa Rae said one of her fears is getting pregnant. She says, I don't want to be slowed down. So that's what I want to ask. 800-585-1051. Ladies, do you feel like being pregnant slows down your career? Do you have a fear of being pregnant? And of course, you got pregnant young, and
I did. All right, damn, Envy. All right, yeah.
What? What? You called me old earlier.
No, I know. Right? I felt like he was trying to get back. He said, yeah, and of course, you got pregnant early, Jess. I remember that. Yeah, I got pregnant when I was 19, and I had my son when I was 20. Yes. Yeah.
Do you feel like it slowed your career down?
No, I didn't know what my career was at that time. It just depends on where you are in your life, because then you got Cardi, and then you got, and that didn't slow her down at all, in my opinion. We don't even know, but in her opinion, did she feel like it slowed her down? But I watched women, celebrities, have babies and still be successful, and then I've watched women didn't have desire to that they just wanted to be moms after they had babies. Right. They wanted to take a break. So, I mean, I think it's different. I don't think it has to slow you down.
All right, well, let's talk about it when we come back. 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.